fear is just a mirage that's holding you back from your dreams? It absolutely has been for me. I have hoed around and hummed around for so long, and I finally realized that this blank wall behind me is the perfect setting for this video. And I'll tell you why at the end. Have you ever had a nudging to try something new? Maybe even know what you need to do to get there, but not know how to do it, so you don't. And then life gets in the way and it never happens. And well, that's where I've been for a very long time, because I have actually secretly wanted to have a YouTube channel and to teach online courses for a very long time. And I have felt that that's where my heart is and that I could make the biggest difference in the world, but I just didn't know how to do it. Which is really weird because I have blogged for years and I have followed other blogs and I have built amazing communities and friendships along the way. And so YouTube seemed like just the next logical step. But there was something blocking me. It seemed like fun, but I kept telling myself, well, maybe my life is boring. I'm just a fuddy-duddy 50-year-old something woman who wants to watch my life. I'm not a world traveler or a foodie or a fashionista. I'm really just a normal person doing life, and my life is kind of messy, so I didn't do it. I found excuses to stay quiet, to play small, to keep in my safe little bubble. I was too busy, I was too tired, I didn't know enough, it was too overwhelming. But if I'm being honest, it was really all about fear. Fear of putting myself out there, fear of being seen, fear of not being good enough, fear of criticism, maybe being exposed. It was just a fear of a lot of things. Well, life has taught me that fear can either freeze us in place, which it did to me for a very long time, or it can push us forward into something bigger and better. And as I thought that, I'm like, I'm capable of figuring this out. I like watching other normal people doing real life things. They're authentic. I like connecting with people who also lead very boring lives, because boring is stable. And believe me, boring is good. Because truth be told, I've spent a lot of years navigating some pretty intense situations. Raising 2 kids with very significant trauma issues, and the other one dealing with some very unexpected but permanently life-changing medical problems. And I've had to learn how to navigate all of that on my own, and learning a lot of life lessons the hard way. And as I thought about that, I remembered all the many times that people have told me that I should write a book about my life. Really? First of all, I have no desire to write a book. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But they are right. Up until this point, my life has been anything but boring. I don't know how much I want to talk about that or how much I will, but we'll see how it rolls. At any rate, in case we haven't met yet, here's a little bit about me. I'm Diana. I've been married a little over 30 years to my husband. I am a very strong Christian woman with deeply rooted faith that completely shapes my life. And if you don't have that, it's okay. It's not a requirement for us to be friends, but it is a big part of who I am. And honestly, I'm tired of hiding behind it because some people get offended by it. Because in truth, it has carried me through a lot of hard things. I have 3 kids who I love with all my heart, but they have given me all of my gray hair. Our first is a miracle bio baby that came to us in surprise in the middle of an infertility battle. The other 2 were adopted many years later, and prior to joining us, they had done a whole lot of living and experienced way more than most adults will ever see in their lifetime. And those 2 have taught us more about trauma, mental health, and attachment, and how broken all the systems are than we ever really wanted to know. They've also taught us about courage, tenacity, healing, and leaning into faith to get through hard things. At the height of those trauma years, we thought we had launched our daughter out into the world to be free, to be finally free of all of it, and to have a normal life. And then she was in an accident that left her in a severe pain condition and ultimately resulted in the loss of her leg. All of our kids are adults now. They're off out in the world trying to figure out their own lives and do things their own way. And now I'm a pseudo-empty nester mom reflecting on all the life lessons that I've learned over the years. Some of those include a life isn't fair. It's not fair what happened to my kids. It's not fair what happened to my daughter. It's not fair what happened to our family. I've also learned that not everyone can handle it. Not everyone believes you. And not everyone who said they will always be there to support you actually will be. Not always because they don't want to, but honestly, many times because they have their own unhealed trauma wounds that are getting in the way of them being able to support you through whatever they're going through, because your stuff triggers their stuff and it turns into a mess. I've also learned that I'm a lot stronger than I ever knew I was or I could be, and that strength doesn't come from being strong naturally. It develops as you deal with life, and you deal with stuff that you have no choice over, and you deal with things you never thought would be possible, and you keep dealing with it day after day until God and the universe decide that you have had enough. I've also learned that we can't save anyone but ourselves, but we absolutely can sink our own ship and bleed ourselves out trying. And now here I am in my midlife season. It's a whole different world than anything I've known for the last couple of decades. I'm certainly not the same person I was. I'm still trying to figure it all out. I'm still trying to reconnect with myself and what I want to do to carry forward, and to let go of what is no longer for me, and some of that's been kind of painful. But I have realized that I've found some gifts and passions through all of these experiences that I never knew I had, and I actually am loving the opportunity to build on those things. So this vlog, this first version of my vlog, is my documentation of figuring it all out, reconnecting with my life, building a whole new life that is different in every single way from our previous chapters, and showing what I learned along the way. And just like this wall behind me, it's all a blank slate. I really have no idea where it's going to go, how it's going to go, and it's kind of like that blank wall. This is my new office wall, and it's not going to be blank for very long. I have some plans for it. In fact, the cabinets were supposed to be delivered a couple of weeks from now, but they got delivered early, so they're sitting on a dolly in my entryway, waiting for me to finish some other projects ahead of them. Right now, it's literally the only spot in my house that also isn't a giant mess, and it isn't full of boxes because we recently moved, which I will tell you a lot about in future videos because it's kind of a big deal, but it is what it is. Anyway, however this turns out, wherever you are on your journey, I invite you to join me here. Go ahead and subscribe to hear more if you want to follow this crazy journey, and we'll be surprised together where it ends up. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. What have you been putting off? What have you been afraid to do? What's been stopping you? Or if you already stepped across that invisible line and started doing something that scares the living daylights out of you. If you have, I would absolutely love to celebrate with you, because just like that blank wall, we've got a whole lot of living ahead of us. It's just waiting to be filled up with whatever our next chapter is. Let's start figuring this out together. I know I'll be sharing some of the raw and real lessons that I've learned along the way, and I hope to hear about some of yours, because we've all got a story. It's all worth sharing, and I really enjoy building the communities around it. All right, that's all I've got for now. I'm going to post this even though it is super imperfect. Go me! I'll talk to you later. Bye!